Wednesday Wanderers, welcome back. It's Ranger Erin, and we're going to be talking today about mustelids. So this is probably a word that you've never heard before, but you have heard of some of the animals that are in the mustelid family. You've probably heard of mink and otter and ferrets and weasels, and they're all part of the mustelid family. So when you say mustelid family, it's kind of like saying the dog or the cat family. So the cat family has your house cat, but it also has bobcats and lions and stuff like that in it, and that's like with the mustelid family, it kind of has all of these creatures that are in that family that are pretty closely related to each other. In Kentucky, you're probably going to see mostly mink, but we also have some river otters and some weasels. And they're going to all be attracted to these watery places. Not all of our mustelids in the world are going to be water creatures, but in Kentucky, mostly we just have some water mustelids. So heading down to a creek area is a great place. Again, our most common one is going to be that mink. And for all of our mustelids, they're going to have some things in common, just like all cats have something in common and all dogs have something in common. All of our mustelids have a few things in common. So most of our mustelids are going to be long and slinky, and they're going to have really short legs, and that's going to help them for getting into underground burrows. That long slinky body, it's going to help them when they're swimming in waterways. They can kind of ripple through the water. It's also going to help them with climbing trees because some of them are arboreal. But again, in Kentucky, ours are going to be aquatic or semi-aquatic. So they're all going to be attracted to small streams, which we have tons of in Kentucky. So you probably maybe have seen or felt some fur from an otter or a mink, and that's really highly prized. So trappers used to trap them. Sometimes they get raised because this fur is very dense and it's going to be waterproof and it's going to be warm. So it's really good fur for all of those water creatures. Same thing with that mink. Very dense, shiny, sleek, waterproof, and warm. Another thing that all of our mustelids are going to have in common is that they are going to be carnivores. And they are really, really carnivorous. So most of our mustelids, they aren't going to eat pretty much anything but meat. There's a few of them out there that are going to eat some other stuff, but for the most part, they really like meat. And you can see from their teeth, they've got sharp teeth all the way down. This one's missing one of those canines, but they've got strong jaws, and they're going to be able to snap and eat all of their prey. So again, being a water creature, they're going to be looking for some mussel shells out here that are going to be a nice tasty treat. They're going to be looking for fish and frogs and salamanders that are going to be all around these waterways. They're going to move away from the water a little bit and maybe they'll snatch a rodent or two. But anything that's going to be small enough for them to bite and eat, they are going to do that. And they're going to be one of our hunters of those mussel shells, of clams, because they're very clever. They are problem solvers, they are playful, and they are fierce. But that problem solving, they're very smart. So our river otters are one of the few animals in the world that we know that they know how to use tools. So they're going to use rocks to break them open. They have strong, clever hands. They're going to be able to pry them apart, but they're also going to use rocks to break open those mussel shells to get that food inside. Some animals are born knowing how to do everything that they need to do in their life, like turtles. They're just going to hatch and they're going to know what to do. But all of our mustelids, our baby mink, our baby otters, our baby weasels, they're going to need to be taught. They're going to need to be taught everything. So they're pretty defenseless when they're born. So mama mink, mama otter is going to have to take them down to the water and teach them how to swim. She's going to teach them how to hunt, how to slink and sneak and be quiet and get all the things that they need to do, because again, they're very clever, but just like us, cleverness, you got to be taught some of those things, how to do them. So they're going to be taught, mama otter's going to teach them how to use that rock to break open that mussel shell. One last thing that all of our mustelids are going to have in common is that they're going to be kind of stinky. So they all can produce a musk. So they're a stinky animal. that's just going to be kind of a strong animal smell, and they're going to use that to mark their territory and to say, this is my spot, don't come over here. I've got kind of a big activity for you. What we're going to be doing is we're going to head on out to a creek. We're going to walk along the edges of those creek, and we're going to look for signs of our mustelids. So we're probably maybe mostly going to see those mink, but maybe we always have the chance of seeing that weasel or that otter. We're going to be looking for signs, so we're thinking scat or we're thinking tracks, because these are sneaky creatures. You're going to be lucky if you're able to see them. That would be awesome, but we might not see them because, again, they're going to be very sneaky. That otter's going to be nocturnal, so you're probably not even going to see it out during the day. We're going to look for signs, and then we're going to take those signs home with us. We're going to be making track molds. So I've searched around for a little bit. I've been looking for 5 fingers, because all of our mustelids are going to have 5 fingers, and what I found here, I believe that this is a mink track. It's a little bit, there's another track that's on top of it, which is I think a raccoon over here, and there's even a bird foot right over here. So I found my tracks that I want to take a mold of. I've got a plastic ring that I cut. This is just an old 2-liter bottle. I'm just going to fit that over top of it. I've already got my plaster measured out, so when you go to the store, you're going to look for plaster of Paris. Any brand is fine. I've got it measured out. It's usually 2 parts of plaster to 1 part of water, and again, like I said, I've already got that measured out. So here's my water. I'm going to pour my water into my bag. Once I've got that totally mixed up, I'm going to pour it into my ring, and it's going to take only 30 minutes to dry. So in my bag, I'm just kind of shaking it around, squishing it. I'm going to pour that in. Give that 30 minutes to kind of cure. I've left these to dry, and now when I touch it, it's nice and solid, so I'm just going to go ahead and peel that off the ground. Before, I pointed out that there was that bird paw print right there, right here, 1, 2, 3. I know that the 4 and the 5 are on here. Here's my minkle little star, that star-shaped footprint, and over here, that much bigger raccoon paw print. And again, we'll clean that up in another day or so. Raccoon paw prints pretty well, but again, I'm gonna let it rest for another day, and then I'll get back in there, and it'll be a little bit harder, a little bit more able to get that dirt away without breaking up that plaster. So we've got a little souvenir of our day out at the park. All right, well, thanks for joining me, Wednesday Wanderers. I will catch you all next time.